Greetings, friends. How are we doing today? On Facebook, we have a Sect of the Horn God group. Anyone can be a part of that group. You don't have to be a member of the organization. If you're on Facebook, look it up and request to join. Anyway, on that group, someone had posed questions as to what sort of video would you like Thomas LeRoy to make? What topics specifically? And one person wrote the following. Since the path is individual and unique for each one who walks the left-hand path, I would like Thomas and Lisa to talk more about themselves, their paths, their experiences, their disappointments, the truths they discovered in their own worlds, the illusions that they have surpassed or not. And I have with me my wonderful wife, Lisa.
No, beautiful wife.
Oh, excuse me, beautiful, yeah. Glorious, wondrous.
Wondrous, yes.
Vivacious, whatever. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, I've been thinking about this. Now, most people, the vast majority of us, came to the path because something happened, or many things have happened in our life that directed us in this, basically put us on this path, in a sense. This comes to mind a quote by Nicholas Schreck, which goes, if you are drawn to the left-hand path, it's usually because you've had some kind of life experience that has shocked you, awakened you. Now, it could be a single experience, it could be multiple experiences. It could be just basically the way life has, way the cards been dealt out for you. Now, what directed me toward the path was basically to put it simply, I hate deceit. I hate fucking liars. I hate the devious, backstabbing cocksuckers that seem to populate this world in the media, in politics, in religion. I despise all of it. That's one of the main reasons why I'm on this path, because I want honesty. It's who I am by nature. And I am that way because of the bullshit that I've had to deal with. Now, I don't want fucking pity. I am no fucking victim. Even if you get victimized, it's your choice whether you are a victim or not. Whether you're going to allow that bullshit to linger and fester and turn you into a sniveling little bastard. Too many people do that. Now, on this path, doesn't matter what happens to you in your life, on this path, it allows you to see reality for what it is. Or, because you see reality for what it is, you are drawn toward this path. Not the pie in the sky bullshit that comes from the right-hand path. Now, my story. My childhood was no fucking walk in the park. My earliest memories are of sexual abuse. I remember making $1. I was given $1 by somebody who forced me to perform a certain act. $1 so I could buy food because I was fucking hungry. I was 5 years old. I walked down to the corner store and I bought a fucking bottle of Coca-Cola and a box of animal crackers. This was a long time ago, and you could get a lot more for $1 back then. Those are some of my earliest fucking memories. And that happened more than once. Then I was in a juvenile hall for a while as a child. I was put into a juvenile hall. I remember after in that juvenile hall, I actually liked it because they had food. All right? I remember going through garbage cans in the neighborhood looking for stuff to eat so I can bring it back to my brothers and sisters. I was the oldest male. Then finally, I was lucky enough, all right, that somebody in the neighborhood called the authorities about these feral children running about. I was lucky enough to be put into a foster home with outstanding human beings. My foster family, their last name was Lex. And you Satanists might find a connection to that word Lex. And I was with them for 8 years, from the age of 6 to 14. I learned how to read. I learned how to appreciate books, appreciate stable existence. Initially, when I went into that foster home, they thought I was possibly, autistic. Back then, they didn't know all that much about autism, or had some mental deficiencies, so on and so forth. I had IQ tests done. It turned out it was rather high. I was just withdrawn. And especially my foster father, he got that shit out of me. He allowed me, in a sense, to blossom. And I found out years later that he was a Freemason. He encouraged my skepticism as I grew a little older and so on. Outstanding human being. I was lucky. I was the luckiest fucker on the planet because those people basically saved my life. Because right now I'd either be in fucking prison or dead. Now, even though like I was saying, even these people were religious, they had their beliefs, so on and so forth. But they actually encouraged free thought. And they taught me what stability was. How to work hard, how to strive, how to achieve. And then after that, those 8 years, my father, who was a drug dealing Harley man, decided he wanted his boys, so he took us back. And he disciplined with his fists over petty shit. This is because he was, he had done maybe too much coke or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, in the end, before he died, we made amends, all that other shit. Everything was fine. But even through that, I always had this certain flame. And I think we know what that flame is, that black flame that was there. And finally, like so many others, I picked up the Satanic Bible. Now, I've said this before in many other videos. LeRoy was an institution in the Bay Area. He was everywhere. Everybody knew who he was. He came from quirky San Francisco, where you had Satanists and hippies and whatever, It was just filled with what they would call freaks. So eventually I picked up that Satanic Bible. I saw my reflection in that book, if you will. I understood who I was. And that's when I first set foot on the path, after reading that book. But I was stagnant on that path, though. I wasn't aware of the complexities of the left-hand path. A lot of people start off the same way. And especially back in the day when you didn't have the internet, you didn't have easy access to what the left-hand path was. And unless you were part of a coven of sorts or a grotto, it was hard to communicate with others who thought the way that you did, who believed in the same manner you did. It's not like now. It's not like now where, if you feel you're kind of slipping, let's say, you can just simply go on Facebook, check out the different groups, watch videos on YouTube. You're always, it's like you're able to open up a door and there's others right there, that you can connect with. But back in the day, wasn't that easy. So there were stagnant periods. But the more I studied, the more I learned, the further I worked my way down the path before I even realized I was honestly on it. Well, I've vented long enough. And it wasn't until I met Lisa and the two of us got together that there was that reconnection, and then we got online, and then we met people. We started networking with people and decided to put this organization together when I felt I was adequately upon the path, heading in that very distinct direction. I saw that goal, you know what I mean, the light at the end of the tunnel, if you will, to use a tired cliche, of self-deification, of sinister illumination, of Jungian individuation, whatever the hell you want to call it. I see it. I saw it. And at that time, I had come up with, different philosophical techniques and so on and so forth. And I decided, okay, it's time to share this. And thus the sect was born.
Yeah. I remember the night, actually.
Yeah.
Exactly when it happened.
Yeah, it was brewing, and then finally it was on November 1st, 2011, the day after Halloween.
Yep.
So, like I said, I've vented long enough. Also, there's, of course, the aesthetic aspect, too. I'd always been drawn toward monsters and the darker aspects of it all. And just because, there's another thing. Just because you have had something shitty happen to you, or multiple things shitty happen to you, doesn't mean you're automatically on the path.
No.
Most people go toward the right-hand path.
Yeah.
It's easier. There's a buffer between you and that darkness. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's called
I do.
Jesus,
Yeah.
Those who are on the path don't want a buffer. They want to look into the abyss. They want to see that darkness.
Yeah.
They want to commune. They understand that they have demons, but there is that one demon that rules all the others. Their personal shadow.
Yep. Yeah, that's the truth, that's for sure. Really, I was my own worst enemy. Things have happened to me, of course, when I was a kid, and, but, I don't know, it's just, I had to face myself, too, so that I didn't drown on all this information that I was coming into. I don't know how to start. I was always drawn to sort of a darker aesthetic, yeah, and
Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh my goodness, yeah. But I didn't see it as a rebellion. It was just a comfortable place for me.
What do you think? Why do you think you were drawn toward the darker aspects? What in your life happened that pushed you in that direction?
My sister, she was a year younger than me, and she was a very violent schizophrenic. And
how old was she when it was first diagnosed?
It took years to be diagnosed.
But the actions, how old was she when the actions?
She was starting as a kid.
Like what, 5, 6?
No. Probably 4.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember I wasn't in kindergarten then yet, and well, I'm older than her, so I would have gone first, and she wasn't. It started out with her killing any of the pets we had. She hung the cat on the clothesline. She took the fish out of their bowl and smashed them with a hammer, and that was always what she was doing. Like, why my parents got more pets is beyond me, but when we had a dog, she just beat the hell out of it. And
did she kill the dog?
no, fortunately she didn't kill the dog. And so my thing as I was growing up, first of all, my parents never believed me when I would tell them what was going on, right, with her. And they sent me to a psychologist when I was quite young. And there was nothing wrong with me, except for the terror I felt with my sister. Anytime my parents left the house, bang, I knew I'd get the shit kicked out of me, knives held at me under my throat. She was just dead violent.
Do you think that your parents did that because they didn't want to admit what was going on with your sister?
Yeah, that could be. And at that time, too, mental health wasn't recognized as it is right now, right, at all.
Not to such a wide degree.
Yeah. So anyway, they sent me for counseling, and I'm just like, why am I here? Right?
But your sister, now, over the years, do you think she possibly got so bad that she may have killed someone?
Oh, absolutely. I've thought that for years with her.
What? Now, she was on the streets for a long time.
Yeah,
and you think maybe another
junkie.
Person on the street?
Yeah. Well, because she threatened my parents or my mom too. She wanted some money from my mom, and she brought some of her friends over that had baseball bats, and if she didn't get it, they would break my mom's legs. And so Mom gave it to her.
I remember the story you told me about that one horrible incident on the Greyhound bus.
Oh yeah.
It's well known.
Yeah.
The guy who basically decapitated another guy on the bus. And you thought, and then that body was taken to your hospital.
Yes.
Where you worked.
Yeah.
And you thought maybe the person that had done it was your sister.
Yeah.
Initially.
Yeah, it wouldn't have surprised me at all.
Now, your sister, as I well know, died just a few years ago.
Yeah.
How did you feel? What was...
I felt great.
Just relief?
There was such a relief that she had died, for me, anyway. And because then I knew my parents were safe, my children were safe, and the nightmares stopped. And I remember when I came to tell you, and I was crying, and my sister died, and I'm like, and then I said, and I'm happy about it. I'm relieved.
Tears of relief.
Yeah.
Now, in truth, your sister died when she was 4.
Oh, absolutely.
With the mental illness.
Oh,
when that set in, she was no longer who she was previous to that.
No.
So in the sense, she had been dead for many, many years.
Yeah.
And because of this life, this endless torment, from, in a sense, your shadow manifested in a human being.
Oh, that's a good way of putting it.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because of that's what put you on the path, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like as a, reading LeRoy, whatever.
Yeah.
But then what do you think? I mean, now you had been a part of a pagan community since you were a child, because your mother was basically a pagan.
Yeah.
All right, and then it probably took you a little while to become aware of what the path was.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. and navigate it and so on and so forth. Where you initially, I mean, like a lot of people, you don't know the difference between the left and the right hand path. You just think, okay, I'm going to try out this.
Yeah.
I'm going to attempt to take part in the occult, if you will,
Yeah.
or paganism,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And initially, you don't learn about that, those differing aspects. It usually takes a little while.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of book reading, although I wasn't getting the information I wanted,
No.
at first, not at all.
No.
And like you brought up, there's no internet then,
No, there was no internet, and there were no
No.
books that said, "Hey, the left-hand path."
Yeah.
And what it's all about. You couldn't find that back in the day,
Yeah.
but you just knew that this hippy dippy shit didn't appeal to you.
No.
The stuff with like I say, with the right-hand path, where you have that buffer between you and the abyss, between you and the shadow self, between you and the demon, and you don't want that buffer because it feels like deceit.
Yeah. It does
You
feel
know.
like deceit, yeah.
It feels like a lie. It feels like you're not getting everything that you want. You're not getting it all.
Yeah.
You're being coddled.
Oh yeah, and I didn't like that. I hate it. I don't want to be coddled.
No.
I did have a friend, Peter is his name. And he was the first one to give me the Satanic Bible. I don't know where the hell he got it from. Because in Canada, there's not freedom of religion like there is here, right?
Not to such a degree.
No, not to such a
It's
degree.
probably a little better now
Yeah,
in
it
some
is.
ways than it was.
Yeah, it's actually gotten a lot better. But he was the one that gave me the Satanic Bible to start reading, and boy did I read.
But you still kind of saw yourself as pagan. That was more of your
Yeah, pagan traditions. And,
right.
yeah.
But
Although, after a while, I just found it was just like there was no difference between pagans in some ways. I'm not saying always, but there was still a praying too, right? And I didn't want to pray too.
right.
And so it wasn't really that different from any other religion, right? You're praying and you want the gods to do this for you or do that for you or give you strength or whatever. And that's fine if it works for you. I don't know. I like Odin.
So, my friends, in conclusion, what do you think put you on the path? What's keeping you on the path? Where do you think you are going to go on this path? I think a lot of us get on it and we just sort of don't progress. And I understand that. Like I stated, there are periods where I could not progress. Life gets in the way, if you will. So let me know down below in the comments. And we both greatly appreciate you actually listening to us, allowing us to vent to you. And also, I want to thank you all for getting us over 15,000 subscribers. That just happened.
Thank you.
That just happened a few days ago. But anyway, that's enough of me venting. And until next time.